Most people only say they want to change their lives. They want the better habits, the better finances, the healthier relationships, the version of themselves that wakes up early, stays consistent, and finally starts living the life they've been imagining. But very few people are actually willing to do the one thing that makes that possible. Look honestly at the life they've already built. Because here's the truth, you didn't end up here by accident. You built this life. Your routines built it, your habits built it, and things you chose to tolerate built it too. Even the parts of it that you hate. Now, that isn't meant to be harsh, it's actually meant to be the most empowering thing that I can say to you. Since your life today is the result of all of your patterns and decisions, then that means that your future life can be completely redesigned as well. But you can't redesign something you refuse to examine. You can't fix what you refuse to look at. Here's something I find really interesting about human psychology. We love thinking about the future. Vision boards, new routines, 5-year plans, reinvention eras. We love imagining the person we could become. But we hate auditing the person that we actually are. Because auditing requires honesty, and honesty threatens the reality we've been telling ourselves. Most people don't avoid self-reflection because they're lazy. They avoid it because once you see something, you can't unsee it. Once you realize a relationship is misaligned, once you realize that your job is draining your soul, then you officially have a decision to make. And that decision requires courage. So instead, we stay busy, we scroll, we stick in the relationship, tell ourselves it's not that bad, tell ourselves we need the money at the job that we're currently at. We watch productivity videos, maybe we watch videos like this with a hot, beautiful girl sitting on a beach telling you about your life. But we collect information and we avoid the one step that actually changes everything, the audit. I want to tell you about the moment that cracked my life open, my canon event, if you will. Is it a fly? Sorry. It was 2018 and everything in my life felt like it fell apart at the exact same time. Kind of the way things tend to when you avoid facing the problems in your life. I stopped talking to my mom, and if you grew up with the kind of codependent and mesh relationship that we had, you would know that that was like worse than any breakup. That was worse than any breakup I've had in my life at that point, and any breakup that I've been through to this day. Yeah, it was literally the worst breakup of my life. It's not just a falling out, it is a full-on identity crisis. I lost my dog, I moved back into my dad's. I was working myself to the bone at minimum wage jobs and getting absolutely nowhere. I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life, and I felt like I was back at square one, and I was furious. But it was at everyone but me. I blamed my mom for holding me back. I blamed my environment for making it inaccessible for me to get the opportunities that I thought I should be having at that age. I blamed my dad for always having a different opinion to my mom and making things really confusing for me in my head. I don't know. I was just walking around with my entire life held in other people's hands. My happiness, my motivation, my self-worth, it all seemed to be dependent on anyone and everyone but me. Dependent on what other people did or didn't do for me. And that's when it hit me. As long as my life is determined by other people, I will never make it. And I will never actually feel fulfilled. It wasn't even a big dramatic epiphany. It was pretty quiet. It was me sitting in my twin bed, back in my childhood bedroom, at home, looking at the ceiling, being like, how the fuck did I get here? And it's when I realized I had to stop waiting for people because nobody was coming to save me. Nobody was gonna make my life better. If they were gonna, they would have done it already. Nobody was gonna take me out of the mess that I, for the first time realizing it was me, had put myself in. I have to stop waiting for everybody else and I have to start living my life for me. And that was the first time I decided to start being intentional. So welcome to chapter 1 of my Best Fucking Year series, where we turn your vision board into real life through intentional action. Now, just some housekeeping. I'm going to be referring to it as Biffy. I like to shorten things, okay? This is who I am. This is who I've always been. So when I say Biffy, just know I'm talking about Best Fucking Year, which is this series that I'm hosting on YouTube, but also my Insta, so you should follow me on there as well. And in case you haven't, like, comment, subscribe, because trust me, you're going to love it here. And if you made it this far, we're locked in, babe, okay? Now, for episode 1 of this series, we're starting with something deceptively simple, and it is the life audit. This isn't a manifestation exercise. This isn't a journaling prompt. You're going to audit your life the way a business would audit its own systems. You have a health system, a financial system, a relationship system, and each of these areas leaves clues about the identity that you're currently living in. For example, do you know what money is coming in and going out, or do you avoid looking at the numbers? Does the work you do feel like you're aligned with who you're becoming, or are you currently tolerating something that your future self would never accept? Are the people in your life genuinely invested in your growth? Do you feel seen and valued, or do you keep shrinking to make space for people who don't reciprocate? Does your environment reflect who you're becoming, or is it a museum of who you've been? Your answers to these questions are data. They reflect the habits that you've built, the systems that you've set up, and what you've chose to tolerate in your life. And the goal of this audit is not to judge yourself, but to determine a baseline. Because you can't build towards something new from a foundation you've never fully examined. That's the fastest way to build a skyscraper that instantly collapses at the slightest breeze. Now my most recent audit was uncomfortable in a way that I was not ready for. It showed me that I needed to leave my 4-year relationship, which should have honestly been completely obvious to me, but I was so deep in that Delulu hole that I could not see my way out. I needed everything to work exactly the way it was working, and it was working horribly. So my audit also showed me that I needed to stop shrinking myself. Me playing small has never helped anyone, and when it has helped anyone, it has helped people who have taken it for granted, and it has only made me just so much less of myself. It showed me that I needed to stop performing a version of myself and start just showing up exactly who I am. All of my sides, all of my flaws and amazing characteristics are perfectly okay, and I don't need to hide or showcase one more than the other. I'm okay just being here exactly as I am. It showed me the energy that I was pouring into people pleasing and to trying to provide happiness and comfortability for people who genuinely took it for granted was doing me no favors, and that I should be redirecting all of that energy back to myself because it's something I had never done before. Was it hard? Yes. Did I do it anyways? Absolutely yes. And since making that call, I got my depression and anxiety diagnosis and have actually started to heal. I also started my abstinence journey. Your girl is 14 months abstinent. I'm like, the time has flown. Where did the time go? Genuinely. I have traveled around the world. I have gone on retreats and vacations and done group therapy and single therapy. I've met people that I could have never imagined and got to sit at tables with amazing women and men and just human and kind souls. I decided to start really showing up online, and I blew up my Instagram from 250 followers to 30,000 in the span of 2 weeks. That was crazy. My YouTube is almost at 2,000 subscribers, which, oh my God, at the time of recording this, we're at about 1,800. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I absolutely love you. I hope you stick around. Not only have I been traveling the world, I'm currently recording from Phuket, Thailand right now, but I've been doing it in business class. Something I had never imagined, something that I thought was going to be on my bucket list for decades to come, has been done. And most importantly, I've been able to build, and I'm still building, a community of just like-minded, kind people who motivate me to continue to show up even when it's hard. These are the kindest souls I have found on the internet, or I should say that have found me on the internet, and they make it really exciting for me to step into the spotlight that I was always meant for. But look, none of that would have happened without the audit. None of it. The life audit is the first step, and yes, it can feel extremely uncomfortable, but if you're uncomfortable, you are exactly where you need to be, and you're doing it right. Because that uncomfortability is going to bring the change that will propel you into your dream reality so fast you don't even know it hit. Like, genuinely, I feel like it was just yesterday that I was like crying because I didn't know how to fix my relationship, and that's over a year ago. Once you see the gap between the life you're currently living and the desired reality that you want to be in, it becomes very clear and very easy to execute the steps to get you there. Now, the life audit is something I do on a yearly basis, sometimes quarterly. I always do it around my birthday, and I always do it for the new year. And I also like to celebrate the Chinese New Year, so then I end up doing it a couple months later. So you can do this audit as many times as you like. There's really no wrong time to do the audit. Anytime you feel like you want to check in with yourself and make sure that you are living with intention, do the audit. And if anything in this video is making you realize that maybe you need to sit down and take a deeper look, don't worry, I got you. Your girl made a free life audit template worksheet for you to work on. It has just got a series of questions that don't require too much thinking, but just require an honest look at your life. You need to be very honest so that you can just see where you're at and start having an understanding of where you need to be. This free worksheet is available when you sign up for my free Best Fucking Year newsletter. The link is in the description. I'll put it in the comments as well. And I just want you to know, this isn't a one and done thing. When you sign up for the Best Fucking Year newsletter or the BFY newsletter, you are making a commitment to yourself to make this your best fucking year. So this isn't just a one and done video and worksheet. I'm gonna be here with you all year. You can expect weekly videos from me here on YouTube, along with a weekly email with a free tool that you can use to work on whatever it is we're talking about in that episode. Because we are turning your vision into reality this year, okay? There is no other option. There is no other way. The link is in the description. Now, before you go, I want to leave you with one question, and I want you to answer it honestly. What is one thing in your life right now that future you would never tolerate? It can be something small, it can be something big, but I want you to write in the comments, because awareness is where it starts, and the fact that you're starting here today, it means something. I hope you guys can still see me. I'll see you next week for chapter 2. Let's hope that that's on camera. I'll finish this and then we have to move because my forehead is on right up. Your future almost fell.